Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and thank you so much for joining me tonight. Tonight and Talking Sip. Um, Welcome to Talking Sip. That's the most important thing tonight. That's the topic tonight. Before we go on to any other topic, let's talk Talking Sip, ladies and gentlemen. Saturday night. Hope you're well. Those joining me on Instagram, those joining me on Facebook, those joining me on YouTube. Welcome to another night where we look at different topics. But the topic of tonight is the patriotic diaspora. Those in the diametric diaspora or overseas, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, what can I say? It was a very great week this week, but what am I drinking? I think it's very boring tonight. Um, Having some, what should I say, sparkling mineral water, which is Crystal Punch. Yeah. And then I'll have some dash of, uh, what should I say, red. And the next question all the while is to ask persons, yeah, what are you drinking if you're not drinking yourself? This what we have this week is a bank holiday weekend in the UK. I always tease people sometime overseas when they ask me what is a bank holiday, and I say it's a day where the banks open their doors and you can go in there and you can actually take as much money you want. Yep, that's what a bank holiday is. You go into the bank, take as much money you want. That's what they do in the UK. People say, "Are you serious?" I say, "Yeah, that's what they do here. Take as much money you want." I wish. But I mean, it would be a fantastic thing if that is happening because, in light of the whole crisis or the pending crisis, whereby the onslaught of the attack, let's do something here. The onslaught of the attack of the oil companies, which is wreaking havoc, total havoc upon the people. Yes, the high cost of living, wreaking havoc upon the people. And when you think about this, for those in the UK, what is happening is that Ofgem, they're talking about the cap for gas and electric in your home is going to be at a high level, high level, ladies and gentlemen, high level. And today was the amount of money, right? The amount of money that the guys who are running the different companies, and I want to see if I can find it. The amount of money that they are making, it is amazing and it is shocking and unbelievable. And yet they say we're in a crisis. Okay? This is what they're going to do. I'll give you an example. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris O'Shea, the CEO, right, of British Gas Centrica, making £875,000, right? £875,000. Think about it for a second. British Gas. Scottish Power, a gentleman called Keith Anderson, making £1.15 million a year. Let's go back to British Gas again. Chris O'Shea. And they say that it has reported adjusted operating profits of 1.3 billion in 6 months in June, up from 262 million the year before. But he has promised to donate 12 million this autumn into an existing supporting fund and would continue to ring fence 10% of profits every 6 months for this during the energy crisis. Why, in the first instance, of taking so much money, of wreaking havoc, and yet at the same time giving back and saying, Go on, hold on upon this one. Hold on upon this. Right? Something is up, ladies and gentlemen. They say it's a scam. Right? What do you call a scam? Scam is when you're being scammed. You know? What they call live and direct, they call it live and direct. That's what they call it. Scottish Power. Let's get that company there. Keith Anderson. Right? Net profit of the year rose by 110.4 million of 369.6 million according to its latest account. Government needs to donate its support for households as people are living in genuine fear. Genuine fear. People are living in genuine fear, ladies and gentlemen. Goes further. This company is called Empower, Eon. CEO Michael Lewis. The pay of this gentleman, £1 million. Now, I'm not knocking persons if they work and they are doing their job and whatever, they make so much money. But how can you justify the high level where they call it the cap? Cap doesn't make any sense if I work in the figures, but that's not the topic for tonight. But I'm just using this as a link to the main show. Eon supplies around 6 million households. Announced to say that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody around the world, listen, I've got to make this announcement. And this announcement is that it had made 3.47 billion in the first 6 months of the year. 3.47 billion in the first 6 months of the year, following a huge increase in gas sales on the wholesale market, largely due to savings, cost savings. Think about that. This is ridiculous. This is crazy. And now, SSE, kind of a spell, don't know what that means. SSE. Alistair Phillips Davis, 2.41 million. Right? Someone making 2.41 million. Count Jacula would say, but not in the humorous sense, but in the ridiculous sense. Not 1 million, not 2 million, but 2.41 million. Right? It's crazy. And the salary of Raman Bhatia, the CEO of OVA, could not be located. Yet at the same time, what can be located is the amount of money that people are going to have to spend. And it's happening around the world. Because I think I heard that JPS in Jamaica is also talking about increasing the rates. Crazy. Simon Rossi, EDF, ladies and gentlemen, French owned, has seen losses in recent years. The company has seen a 30% rise in calls from customers under stress and struggling to pay their bills. 30% rise in calls from customers under stress and struggling to pay their bills. Crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Not half crazy, but full crazy. And then, Craig Jackson, Octopus, that's a company. Maybe it has different hands. Says, it's pay 150,000. Okay, not bad. But he gave it up last autumn when the energy crisis began to bite. Shell Energy, ladies and gentlemen. Salary of Jody Eaton, know the name, Jody Eaton, Chief Executive of Shell Energy, could not be located. But Shell posted record earnings of 11.4 billion, nearly 10 billion pounds for the first 3-month period from April to June. Ladies and gentlemen, the question is, how do you justify these massive increases? Now, how do you justify these high wages salaries for these chief executives of these oil energy companies, while it is crime and it is criminal? I've said this many times. What are they going to be waiting for in order? Yeah, what are they going to wait for to make something happen, for something to recognize that this is not sustainable, that people are going to be suffering, where people are going to be deciding between eating and eating food or heating. So if you can't eat, you starve and you die, right? And if you can't heat, you freeze and you die. Well, are they waiting then? Are they waiting then for people to die? Years ago, when they had in the social care issue, you had children. Baby King Victoria Clandon, 2 children died. They said it was a failing of local authority, failing of social workers. And from that time, no company, no local authority would like for any time down there was a virtue of, what should I say, shortage of funds, not able to pay workers. And I believe that's what may have to happen. Something fundamental to happen. For there to be a wake-up call that this cannot be sustained. I think even Donald Trump said something that you cannot have all energy coming from one source, from Russia. Well, they laugh at him and they call him the boogeyman. And now the boogeyman is Russia with war. It's interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome again and thank you for joining me tonight on Talking Sip. Those on Instagram, you only can see me, but on YouTube and Facebook, thank you. Executive Vic, you going to the carnival? Nah, I'm not going to carnival. I can't go, well, last time I've been to carnival. I did not like too much crowd. Just me personally. But I'm sure people have a carnival, and I'm sure in light of the carnival has been suspended for the past 2 years due to COVID. I believe the last one was 2019 and 2020 lockdown, 2021 lockdown, 2022. I believe it's going to be an opportunity for people to actually rant, rave, and misbehave in a nice way. So cheers to those who will be going to the carnival. Well, ladies and gentlemen, last week we spoke about brain drain. Yeah, we spoke about how loyal and how patriotic are persons when they leave, like Jamaica, they go to countries to work, and the deficiency in the system as a result of that can be impacted, i.e., Jamaica, and Jamaica is a bone of contention there. And it has been proven, and it has been said many times that persons, when they go overseas, people say they're unpatriotic. But I beg to differ. And tonight with diaspora, and when we say diaspora, we're talking about a nation outside of a nation. So diaspora is not relating only to Jamaica. Diaspora is not relating only to any particular country. It talks about the African diaspora, the Jewish diaspora, the Asian diaspora, the Chinese diaspora, the Jamaican diaspora. Right? When they go overseas, are they unpatriotic? Have they left the shores of their country and going somewhere else? What's your take? What's your thought? Now, if you want to join in on the show, and if you are a person who is in overseas and you want to speak about the patriotism of yourself overseas, do join the show. You can send the link. Let me just make sure that I have the link up. The link is up so persons can actually click on the link, and they can actually join the show. I have no idea who's going to come on tonight. I think I don't know if I've ever done a show yet with just myself only. That has happened before, and I'm surprised that I did the marathon, because once you're live, and the show must goes on. Let me see, what am I looking for? The link. Here's the link. Guest link to join the show. And here it is. Let me see if I can put it up here. Chat. In the chat. There we are. So that's the chat there. Where else can I put it? Chat. WhatsApp. It's up there. 1, 2, 2, 2. I'm gonna jump by Rudy Page later. Rudy's gonna come on the show, and Rudy Page does a lot of stuff with Jamaica, local and international. I was involved with Dyken Dryden, one of the first black hair specialists in the UK. I think he's gonna be going to Jamaica at some point, and he's doing some fantastic stuff there. And I think there's gonna be this homeward bound creative shows on the 10th of September. I'm gonna get the flyers up. So he's gonna be talking about that. See, there's a lot of things that people need to also recognize that when one goes overseas, I was watching this, and I think he's in China or Japan. He was a part of the debate and the discussion around Jamaicans overseas. Are they traitors or are they not patriotic? And he was talking about the things that he was able to do as a result of being overseas, the things that he is able to accomplish, and also the ways how we can actually be there to promote Jamaica in either Japan or China. And I was hearing somebody was talking to me today and saying that even with the Jamaica High Commissions around the world, what they should be doing as well is to engage or employ Jamaicans who are in the diaspora instead of bringing people from overseas to join the missions, because they who are here or within the diaspora are able to be wanting most times to give something back to Jamaica or give something back to their country. So as a result of that, they are able to find some little avenues where they can actually do that. Yes, please. Let me see. Let's how are you doing? Yo, Gaza. Listen. Um, you have to quote a chump. Somebody said I quoted chump. Yes, I quoted Trump today. And Lester will quote Trump as well. Where's the boss?
Wagwan.
We're cool. Somebody a while ago, somebody just said to me, "You quoted Trump. You quoted Trump." And I said, "Yes, I quoted Trump." Because Trump had said the world must stop relying on Germany and Russian oil. And that's why they're in this crisis. You all right, Lisa? You can hear? Oh, listen to me. Talk, listen, talk. Let me just get your volume. Talk, let me hear.
Yeah, man, we can hear you, man.
Yeah, but yeah, you can't hear me, but me want to make sure you can hear it. You know what I mean? You can't. I'm a silent one-way show. So we're having some green juice.
Yeah, healthy wheat juice made from wheat.
Okay. Yeah, wait, Jamaica, y'all green shirt. Did you put on that specifically for the show? Just ask it.
Yes, because of the topic.
Yes, I like that. Let me just say hi to Michelle. Michelle, peace and balance and wellness and Silburn on all on the live. Michelle, you got to change that answer. Peace and balance, wellness, Silburn, all on the live, and then do one specially for Leicester. Okay, so I'm waiting for you to a special one for Leicester as well.
Hello, Michelle. Good night, Michelle. Love having you here, Michelle.
Yeah. So what's going down in Jamaica, man?
Only bad things are going to Jamaica, you know. Only good things, only bad things.
You're right, but let's look on the good thing, because somebody said something to me today, and the person said, but Cydia, listen, people always complain that there's a limited amount of jobs in Jamaica. So if a teacher them go, that means there's enough more jobs about. there's more jobs for people.
Silburn.
Okay. Michelle gave you one. So.
Yeah, man. I'm a sister, man. I'm a sister.
With that one, yeah.
Love to Michelle.
Yeah.
Fix my wedding ring. Yeah.
All right.
Wedding
ring too. Yeah.
Honestly, Silburn, I think everybody has to look from. Everybody is looking at their standpoint, right? But also they're looking at the information that they have. Now, a person like myself, a person like you, my learned friend, who have a wider knowledge and who is older than other people who are speaking, would know that the migration process of professionals from any country, not just Jamaica, but from any country, but especially developing countries, you're going to have the skilled, the not so skilled, and the educated persons leaving for greener pastures, because everybody has an ambition, you know.
Yeah.
So if as I said, I have friends who are earning 600,000 a month in Jamaica. I want to leave. Yeah. I want to leave, you know. But what we have seen in the past, where Mr. Redwood, the president of the Senate, he was on the People's National Party side. He left the Senate and went to Canada to live. In wife and in family, you know. I went to Canada. He's back in Jamaica now. But what I'm saying, he left the president of the Senate, you know. Yeah. So you'd think that he has reached the Senate stage. He's the president of the Senate. He would not want to migrate.
Yes.
You know, but he also sought greener pastures.
Yes.
But the important thing that we are to note is that the study that came out, we have to take in consideration the period. So I think it's for this period, it is the highest, but it is not the highest in Jamaica's history. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, I think I'm looking at it now. I'm looking at it. What are the positives which can be deemed from persons migrating, and how patriotic are Jamaicans when they migrate? Can they be patriotic? Unlike what the deputy mayor has said. I don't know if the deputy mayor, when he said that in Montego Bay about Jamaicans go overseas, they're unpatriotic. Because looking at you there, listen, ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you this. I learned more about Jamaica and get more information from Jamaica, from Leicester, right? So Leicester not even a Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? So you have some people in Jamaica, them shut off completely from what going on in Jamaica. And you got people overseas who are log on, then jump on. No, I can't sing that song. That word that wouldn't come out right. Log on, log on. You jump on.
Just stick at log on.
Log on.
The alphabet people might flap us for the other line that comes after that.
Yeah. But go on,
but Silbert, I mean, just before I came on here, I was speaking to your MP there in Northeast St. Ann.
Yes.
You know, and so yes, I have had opportunity of getting information. But everybody look on patriotism different. You know, Some people think say, boy, I'm a patriotic because I'm going to build a house, but they have no other investment in Jamaica. You know? Some people them have businesses, them visit 3 times a year, them have a charity where they sponsor 2 picnic at school. It's different, you know. But anywhere you live, that's where most of your money is going to be spent.
Yes.
And used. So it's only a fraction of our money goes back to Jamaica. But in terms of totalitarian, in terms of collectively, it adds up. But let me say something to you, Silver. Maths teachers has always been short in Jamaica. We have never had a proliferation of maths teachers in Jamaica ever. When you were going to school, right, maths teachers were short also, right?
Now my maths teacher name is Mr. Small, and he motivated alone and said, "Boy, you can't count." And when you come to school, they Mr. Small. Everybody know from your High School, Mr. Small is always there, man.
but what I'm saying is like when you look at the categories that people are highlighting and making a hullabaloo about, these categories are the categories that have always been sought after by developed countries, right, and by even other industry, other sectors. So when you look at a lot of the mathematicians are not teachers. They work in the banks, they work at the central bank, they work at accounting companies. But most of the good mathematicians with the PhD especially are not teachers or professors, but they work in the private sector. Right? How nobody is not complaining about these persons who are the best of the best, working in the private sector and not in the schools to mold our students. That's also a problem. Yes. And they're still in Jamaica. You know, science teachers have always been short also. You know, arts teachers have been short. So it's not a new problem that's happening. What we have now is more reporting.
So it is just like how we're talking about like lots of killing, or in America, which were showing a lot of things coming up. It's not because it was new, it was just because lots of reporting and lots of social media things happening. Good evening, beautiful people. I just want to pick up Vita Gale, this great lady who is here. I have to give special reference to her, if you don't mind, Lester. You don't mind? I said special hello to Vita Gale. Do you mind, Lester? Do you mind?
You know Vita before me, you know.
Huh?
You know Vita before me, you know.
Yeah, but yeah, you're right about that. So I don't know why I bring you that impression. You know, Vita is there from a long time, innit? Original Ochi girl, but I understand you're not Ochi man list at the same time. Big up.
Yes, I am. I am, sir. I am.
Yeah,
I'm going to transfer my vote from West Kingston to Northeast Center.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised that one day you might become the MP of Center, Northeast Center.
No, I'm not interested in representational politics.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. You're not interested in representational politics. Where many people believe that the best way to actually make a difference and to change lives politically is through representational politics. It don't have to be, is it?
No, because you have a lot of persons who are in politics, like Sharon Hay Webster. She's not a political representative in terms of an MP or a councillor or a senator, but she's making a huge contribution to the changes in the landscape in Jamaica. You know, so you have many people who are working behind the scenes who are actually doing a lot of good. You know, you have persons in the PMPYO, you have persons in the G2K or the Patriots who are not elected members of parliament or councillors, but they are making a difference and making a contribution. They put on treats, they put on health fair, they have back to school giveaways and stuff like that. They provide relevant information, they provide job opportunities and training and stuff like that. You know, so these people are making a difference also.
That's good. I just wanted before I'm going to guide a Rudy Page is going to come on later. He's doing some stuff with Jamaica. I want to touch on something. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a backdrop there because the backdrop starts throwing me off a bit. Like, I mentioned something earlier about Trump, and why I mentioned Trump was because of the high cost of gas and electric, which is hitting the UK. I don't know what it is like in Netherlands there. I know in Jamaica they're talking about a possible increase in JPS.
No, it's not a possible increase in JPS. It is going. The contract that JPS has with the government of Jamaica is that they are guaranteed a profit margin. They are guaranteed a certain percentage of raise. I think every 2 years or something like that. Also with the toll roads too, the same contract they have, they're guaranteed a profit. So that's why the toll roads and the Water Commission and JPS and these places apply to the OUR for a particular increase, but it's not like they're going to get it. You know, they may not get, if they want maybe a 10% increase, the OUR suggests that no, you can only get a 6% increase, but they will get an increase. So it's not that they will get the increase.
Yes, but it is something which is happening worldwide. I mean, in Netherlands, are you guys having issues with gas?
Yes, it is the highest. It is the highest we have seen petroleum costs. A lot of persons, especially those who live closer to the border of Belgium and Germany, they are driving across the border, and it's just like with wheels. You can just drive across. You know, it's not like always the next country, but it's just a street.
Yeah.
So they just drive across and they fill up the fuel. But also persons have seen a sharp increase in their energy bills. Also, persons have jumped from paying like 100 to 400. You know, it has been like really increase in fuel costs.
Yes.
But that is worldwide for the most part. That's worldwide for the most part. It's only certain countries that produce high volume of energy that have seen like a stability in energy costs, like Brazil, Denmark. So most of the Scandinavian countries that produce high volumes, like Denmark, for instance, Denmark uses 100% of their garbage to transform it into energy, you know, and they make so much, and a lot of people have solar energy, well, green energy, and them sell it back to the grid. Denmark is producing so much energy that they sell it to other European countries. So they have a stable rate. We are dependent on crude oil to refine it to make petroleum products and to make gasoline for industries and for motor vehicles. So we are going to feel the sharp increases. Plus, once there's a problem in any major oil market, it's going to reflect on the OPEC. It's going to reflect there. So they're having trouble with Germany, Russia. Sorry, not Germany. Russia produces 60 to 64% of U.S. oil, right? And a whopping maybe almost 70% of Europe's oil. So if there's a sanction against Europe, and Europe is against Russia from Europe and from the USA, and they're not getting that, right? That means that they're going to depend more on Middle Eastern oil, and that means that the demand is going to drive the cost up.
Yeah, it's interesting what Michelle said, that she noticed the gas prices in Florida has dropped. I noticed also gas prices in my neighborhood has also dropped. It was at 1.89 a few weeks ago for liters, now 1.6 something. But they are saying there's a distinction between petrol and also electric and gas also that goes to the homes, you know. But I think this would be very interesting for persons who are thinking about migrating, that this is something they got to think about. But persons in the diaspora, persons overseas, also got to recognize that you can't sit back on your laurels now and waiting for the typical 9 to 5 or so. You got to be doing things, because it is something which is out of control. But what I find very interesting though is people are now going to be, like in the UK, going to be distinguishing between eating or heating. We're getting into the winter zone, gonna be bitter cold. Eating or heating. And if you can't eat, you starve and you're not healthy. And if you can't heat, your body heat, you freeze and die. Now, I don't want that to happen. Well, this is what always happens. When something of that nature happens, of a drastic nature where people die because of this, you'll be surprised how government come in and make differences and make change.
I was going to say that. I was going to say that. I was going
Huh?
to say that. I was going to say that also. Miraculously, they come with a solution.
Miraculously, they come with a solution. Miraculously, you know? And yeah, so, but anyway, that's it. But I really want to zero in tonight on the progressive nature of the diaspora, you know? And we're not talking about the diaspora organization, but Jamaicans overseas. I was listening to a guy on Beyond All Angles. Is that the show with Dion Jackson Miller?
All angles.
All Angles, and he was talking about the fact that he left Jamaica. He never want to go. He never want to leave. And as he was even leaving at the airport, him changing mind and him changing mind and he didn't want to go. But now he's away and he realizes the best thing that he has done because he's finding himself in a position where he can actually be an ambassador for Jamaica. I think he's either Japan or China he's from. And also he was able to do his masters and all those sort of bits and pieces. And he feels that he has contributed a lot to Jamaica. But if we look at the patriotic Jamaicans and people overseas, and people can contribute here, how do you see Jamaicans can contribute to Jamaica from overseas, from the diaspora?
Before I answer that,
Yeah.
I must give a shout out to Kiddis Cowans and Jerome Cowans.
Yes.
Currently flying over the Atlantic en route to Paris.
Yes, I saw them. I sent them hi to them today. Yeah.
Well-deserved vacation, and those two are two Jamaicans. They could have left a long time ago, and
yes.
they decided to stay in Jamaica and hone and work and to help be the agent of change in Jamaica.
Yes.
So that's the big of Kiddis Cowans and Jerome Cowans and Jesse Cowans too.
Yes.
Yeah. But Silburn, again, perspective, right? You remember in the 80s, but I'm not to remember. I'm telling you, in the 80s.
I wasn't born yet. Yeah, I was born.
I know. So in the 80s, we had a lot of nefarious characters leaving Jamaica in the 80s and the 90s to the United States and UK. And they partaked in underground activities in these countries. But they also remit back a lot of money to Jamaica. These characters also, although they're on the other side of the law, they felt a certain level of patriotism also to Jamaica, where they remit huge sums of earnings also to Jamaica. Yeah. So patriotism have to be looked at in a wide scale, right? In a very wide scale. So it's not just the persons who are working in the legal economy, but we have to look at the overall landscape. Now, a lot of persons have, including myself, including my wife, have, and many other Jamaicans, have gone to foreign lands, and we have seen where the opportunities that are provided by the private and the public sector and the government, where an education grant, or if you're a minority, or if you live in this community, or, there's certain structures set up there, and you say, oh, I can benefit from this. I can gain from this. Oh, they're willing to send me to school. Okay, let me go to school. So we have seen that. Now, with that skill set that we have acquired, that skill set is more needed in Jamaica and it is needed in developed countries because, like, you're a barrister, right?
No, I'm not a barrister. No, I'm a, yeah. Not a barrister. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry, sir.
You got two different. You have solicitor, you got barristers in the UK. Yes.
Okay. I would have tried to push it. I'm a bridge to push it. um, there's lots of attorneys in the United Kingdom. We're not short of attorney, right?
Well, actually, they're striking. They're striking for more money.
No, but what I'm saying,
And while they're striking, they got the Bergen bag. They got the the expensive bags. People were laughing one time.
but what I'm saying is that the skill set that we have acquired in the developed countries, it is more needed in the developing countries that we are from. I was just in Jamaica recently, and there's a shortage of management. There's a shortage of management. There's a shortage of implementation of easy systems that work, right? Jamaica make things too complicated, and things can be a lot easier. But also, when you look at, there's not enough persons with a high level of skill set that is there to implement these things, or the persons with that skill set are not working in certain sectors. So there's also a lackluster, there's also a lacking or a void in certain areas that is well needed. So that's also a problem. But the issue with the patriotism, or the issue with coming back to Jamaica, is safety, the main thing, safety, and also comfort. Like me, Silver, we can't be in the cold water again, Silver. You understand me? We can't be in the cold water again.
But,
right?
What was it there, Jamaica?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that sometimes you might go to the people in Jamaica be the regular water for the most part, and but a lot of persons don't have would not have the level of comfort they have in the developed countries. So that's also an issue.
Okay.
But many people want to come back home, but these safety and comfort is two things, and also access to good health care.
Yes.
Access to good health care is very, very important, especially if you're aging.
Because people have actually come back to the UK, people have been to Jamaica, went to Jamaica, built up their big house and everything like that, and actually after a while with their health, they tend to come back to the UK after the children bring them back because of the healthcare factor,
Yeah. That happened with Miss Lou. Yeah, that happened with Miss Lou. Miss Lou had to leave Jamaica. And I think that's why she hasn't been named a national hero, because her residency, her citizenship is Canadian.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
but
that's
Marcus Garvey, no, he still was.
All of them are Jamaican. All of them are Jamaican.
Yeah, but Miss Lou, even though she left Jamaica, she's still a Jamaican. Yeah, she was still a Jamaican.
Yeah, but the only one that is not a non-Jamaican that's named a national hero is Nani.
You mean because of the maroon factor?
No, I'm just pointing out that she's the only non-Jamaican that's a national hero. She was born in Africa. She was born in Accra.
Okay.
Yeah, Nani wasn't born.
I thought it was the whole thing regarding very interesting development in Maroons. I don't know if you saw Chief Curry. Some very interesting things going up there in Maroon land. But that's another thing. I don't want to touch that one there, but big bashment going on there.
Yeah.
But let's go back. Let's go back to before we get on to Mr. Rudy Page, who's going to come on soon, and who's ever going to come on. When we started, we said what's going on in Jamaica. What are some of I've seen the Prime Minister very busy on the front line, and I've seen some criticisms of why he's on the front line on every single thing. I know you wanted to come in on that one because I saw a post that he made, but he's been on the front line very, very busy, very active. And you said something that before in the past there wasn't social media that much with the advent of that. I don't know if that's what you said, but see we can go into that bit there because it's positive as far as I'm concerned. It's a positive thing. It's positive to be doing something that is positive, but people find it negative for the person to be doing something positive and showing up himself doing things positive. That makes negative.
Listen, and it's not because I'm a supporter of the Prime Minister or the party. I'm talking merely as a person with common sense now, right? Now, he has designed a program called the Hope Program for persons who are like persons who get burnout, persons who are living in absolute squalor, right? Each MP, we have 63 MPs. Each MPs are allotted 5 houses per constituency. 5. By 2023 or the end of 2022, it will be increased to, or 2023, it will be increased to 10 houses per constituency, right? Now, by 2024 or 2025, by 2024, he would have issued out 9,000 social houses, right? Now, this is separate and apart from NHD.
Right. I was going to ask, so those houses are free?
Free.
Those houses that is free are free.
Free, yes.
No mortgage
Remember,
paid or anything like that?
2 days ago,
yeah,
he gave out houses to persons in Majestic Gardens, otherwise known as Bacto, in Portia former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller's constituency, Dr. Angela Bromberg constituency. Those are NHG houses. Those are different. Those are NHG houses.
Yeah.
Now, the Hope program, the Hope houses, social houses that he's giving out is free. So, like Delano Tucker, the young man that was seen in absolute squalor,
yes,
and his family, that in pardon?
No, I remember that guy. I remember the story around.
So Terrence and Morrison, just last week Thursday, his house was delivered, and it's a beautiful house.
Yes.
Now, what the Prime Minister is trying to do is trying to touch, and it's not everybody's going to get touched. It's not everybody who lives in squalor is going to get touched, but at least he's trying to do something. So I think that the effort should be applauded, that he is really trying to say, hey, we can't touch everybody who get burned out, but I will touch some, right? There are 3 being constructed right now in East St. Thomas, right? And I can go right around the island, and even in the PMP constituency, it's not a partisan thing, This is about each constituency get 5 houses to issue. So it is the MP now to say, hey, I have this family and that family and that family, or this person or so and so to get the houses. The whole program come in and assess it, because the whole program runs through the Ministry of Growth and Economic and Job Creation, right? It's free. Persons are saying that he's using it as a political campaign. He's using it as photo ops, and I'm saying, are people benefiting from it? Are families who never have a house, persons who could never afford this type of house? Because usually these same persons would have to go through embarrassing hoops, to get a food for the poor wooden house, right? With a big food for the poor mark on it.
Yeah.
But it would be a wooden house. Now, these persons are getting a concrete structure.
Yeah.
They're getting a proper dwelling. Why is it a negative?
Yeah, and what's the criteria? Is the criteria is nothing, is just the area. Is there a criteria how they get it? Is there a vote or something?
The criteria would have to be your living condition. So, like Delano Tucker and his family, they were living in basically one hut.
Yes.
But let me tell you something. Delano Tucker's neighbor, when you look at the neighbor, I'm gonna send the image. I'm gonna search for the images. This Delano Tucker's neighbor was living, part of his dwelling was a tree, and like him attached on some zinc and like some wood. So it's not even a full dwelling, right? It's an old man. So I spoke to MP Karen Morrison, and she also submitted that gentleman for one of the social housing, you know. So I've seen many elderly persons who were living in absolute squalor getting these social houses in PMP constituency. Let me emphasize that it is not partition, it is not jail people getting it, it is Jamaicans that are getting it.
Now, listen, positivity. People will always find negative things to say in everything about anything, especially politics, and that's one of the. I wouldn't say I'm not going to use the word downfall because it depends on how one is looking at Jamaica. One can say Jamaica is going down, or one can look at it and say Jamaica is going up with lots of progress. But I personally, don't see anything wrong with the prime minister because if it was PNP, they'll be doing the same thing, helping persons. And the prime minister now is in power, and his beautiful wife. Even though people sometimes make noise, I know your comments here, ram for lick out. But listen, Virgin, at the end of the day,
hit out.
What did I say? Hit out? What did I say? I said hit out.
No, you said lick out. So it's hit out.
But quickly move on. Yes, hit out.
Uno.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. But other than that, in Jamaica, what's the other thing there?
Well, a large part of the corporate Jamaica, the business, the PSO, the private sector organization of Jamaica, and many private entities has come out in full support or strong support of Dr. Chang and his stewardship of the Ministry of Security.
Okay.
And that's a good boost for Dr. Chang. Personally, I'm not afraid to say this publicly. I think Dr. Chang is doing a very poor job.
Yes.
Right? I have nothing against Dr. Chang.
Yeah.
I've said that repeatedly.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I think he's a wonderful GenSec. I think he's a wonderful MP. He should just resign as security minister. He has brought the security ministry to a new high, yes, but I think on the policy level, in terms of as a minister, I think he has done absolutely disastrous on a policy level, right? But what we have seen is that overall, there's huge confidence in even with the high crime that Jamaica is experiencing.
Yeah.
There's a huge confidence in foreign direct investment, in even local investment. We have seen recently where our friend again and Talk and Sip alumni, Kiddis Cowans and Jerome Cowan, where Jerome works at cement company, and Kiddis is a fellow in the office of the Prime Minister, and she's seconded to the Ministry of Culture and Entertainment and Gender Affairs under Babsy Grange, where the two have collided recently, and we have seen where the cement company is putting in something like a $2 billion investment or something like that, or $6 billion of investment upgrade into the cement company, and that is a significant investment into your economy. That shows that it is this company, this private sector company, is confident. We have seen where our track star, or sworn in national hero Usain Bolt also invested $500 million in a new building. So we're seeing many people who are really showing confidence into the economy.
So is it okay for me to do this? Is it copyrighted?
Well, that is a physical thing, so it's not copyright. It will be patented.
Yes. Patented, yes. Because I think he's getting his patenting
Royalty.
that
Yes.
royalties for that.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yes.
Another thing also, my good friend of mine, a good mate of mine, he works with Best Dressed Chicken. And Best Dressed Chicken? Yes, Best Dressed Chicken. The chicken company in Jamaica.
There's two of them.
They're
There's boilers and there's mistress.
yeah, I don't know, but they said chicken prices have reduced. The price of chicken has reduced, and they're saying it is trying to make the PNP, the JLP look good. Have you heard that one?
But that has nothing to do with JLP. This is a private company. This has,
But I'm just trying to show you.
but you see, okay. Let me put the connection.
Yes.
Russia and by large Ukraine. Ukraine is one of the largest producers of wheat, and wheat make a lot of animal feed.
Yes.
Ukraine makes a lot of animal feed also. So that's why wheat-based products are increasing around the world and stuff like that, right? So this is why this is significant, because we generally get a lot of these animal feeds from these countries. So when you have a reduction, it shows that the private sector has gone above and beyond and really worked hard to let the consumers be valued. That this has nothing to do with JLP. Andrew can't boast about this. Me can't go blog and say Andrew did this. No, this is pure 100% private sector valuing their customers, seeing the need of their customers, noting that the vulnerable amongst us need to have this product on their plates and can be affordable.
Yeah. It's very interesting you mentioned, and I've heard it many times now, how Ukraine is somewhat like the breadbasket of the world when it comes on to wheat, which was Zimbabwe once, wasn't it? Was it Africa once was the breadbasket? Oh, we dropped.
Still is. Because I've worked in factories here, and like 90% of the fruits and vegetables is out of Africa. Europe has like the Netherlands has a lot of farms in Africa. So it is still the breadbasket of the world.
Okay. Well, one thing for sure though is that the war. We're just expecting that this whole war thing will sort of dissipate and just go away eventually, so people can actually relax and live their life. Carnival is in the UK this weekend, so people can finally get a time to jump on prawns and misbehave.
Are you at the party?
No, I partake never in carnival. Can't tell the last I've been to carnival. Maybe can't tell the last I've been to a carnival.
Okay.
I don't rant, rave, or misbehave. That's what carnival is about. But it's a fun time. I think it's a good opportunity for persons to, because cast off all the restraint. 2019, I believe, was the last one. Then COVID came in. 2020 it was postponed. 2021 was postponed.
That's the one at Tottenham, right?
Notting Hill Gate. No, Notting Hill Gate.
Notting Hill. Sorry, Notting Hill. Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one, the European big one there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So Sundays.
You have never been to it?
Oh yeah, I've been, because my church, the big church which I normally used to go to, it was right in the middle of it. So therefore we used to have outreach right in front of the church, and I used to do my rap. I used to do some rapping and stuff like that, do some.
No, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to demonstrate. It's okay. We believe you.
Like people, I always get excited when I talk about rapping. People say, "Go on, show me what you can do."
We rather see you dance, sir.
You rather see me dance. Actually, I was looking at a video the other day, whereby I can do a video and I can make it plan to do the video and it get 5 or 10 views, and I just don't go dance, and everybody the views just gone up like that. Everybody loved the dance.
Yeah.
Keep dancing. And I did a video. I went into when I do my walk, went into a shop today near the park, have a coffee, and as I was in the queue waiting, they started to play Shaggy. It wasn't me. And I went up to the girl and I said, "Wow, thank you guys for playing the music while I was in the queue." And she said, "Sure." And then I said, "My name is." They give you your name when you're waiting for your coffee, so they can call your name. And so my name is Silburn, Sylburne, aka Shaggy. And in the park, I tell you the fascinating thing about Jamaica. It's interesting walking in a park, a big English park, Beckenham Place Park in the UK, with pure white and pure dog, and then waboom, we used to walk in a Jamaican we know.
Yeah.
that is awesome. I saw a girl the other day, and then this morning there's a house. I don't know if you ever see the house in the park. I call it the Duppy House. Every time I walk up near to that house, I said, Miss Jenny, hold dog, Miss Jenny, hold dog." So this guy was standing there reading the whole thing that this place was a clubhouse. So I walked up and I said, "Come in, man. Let's go up at the house, man. At my house." And he said, "Yeah, your house?" I'm starting to follow me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that was a commercial break. Carry on, Lester. I just break away.
You can't say that word into the Queen's English, You have to revert to your local vernacular. Yeah, broke out.
Broke out. Yes,
Yeah,
broke out. Broke out. But yeah, but the other thing now, while we're talking about it at the same time, is what's the situation with Donnelly? Is she alive?
Silburn, I am not working with the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They're the most suited agency to answer that question, sir. But all indications, this is my belief. I have not. No, that's not true. I've spoken to investigators, but
Yeah.
for what I'm saying, for my belief, is that Donnelly is deceased. I think that they have the persons who are guilty of perpetrating that act. I think they have chopped up the body and disposed of it. That's why if the accused is the one that is guilty of it, that's why he can't say. And I think other persons may also be involved in the act. So it is very difficult. But they will never find, and this is my opinion, they'll never find her body. And the family is crying out for closure in terms of wanting to find the body to bury, and I understand, and Jasmine Dean also family also believes that closure. But what I don't like, what I feel very uncomfortable is Donnelly's family is basically bullying or chastising the prime minister, and saying that him a dance leg of the bird while him should I don't understand if they want the prime minister personally to go and search throughout the morasses, throughout the highlands and lowlands of Jamaica for Donnelly's body. That is not the purview, or that is not the responsibility of the prime minister or any official elected member. That is the job of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. And I do understand the anguish, I do understand the pain that the family has gone through. I myself have lost a very close cousin, and he's the son of my uncle, who is a state officer. I have felt that pain also, where they have killed my cousin. We got his body, but I felt the pain that his family are feeling. But direct your emotions towards the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
Yeah, there's a young lady which they said was they couldn't find. She's blind, and they said I can't find her. And then another article said that she's in the States.
Oh, I'm trying to remember her name. Yes, she has been in the States for about 5 days now. Yeah. So, but hold on. Jamaica Constabulary Force has made a huge blunder, and if I were that young man, I would have really speak to my lawyers and I would have sued the Jamaican government and I've sued the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They put out a person of interest or a wanted poster saying a particular gentleman is wanted, right, for various crimes. That gentleman is not even residing in Jamaica. He's in Atlanta.
Mm.
He has no criminal record in Jamaica. He has no criminal record in, and they have plastered his face all over the social media, all over the media, and say that he's wanted for various crimes. And the Jamaica Constabulary Force, the media arm has apologized, but I think that young man should hire the services of a very expensive and very good attorney to take on that case in the civil courts.
That wasn't anything to do with any of these cases, or just a separate case or so?
Separate cases. But what I'm saying is that the JCF should not have gotten this so wrong.
Yeah, but then you asked a question about this. I think some businessman rape a girl or some allegation against rape with a girl, and they said they don't want to actually disclose his name, because if they disclose his name, you know who the girl is, the child is.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. It is because of the money class that is
Sometimes things happen once in a while. Lightning strike once. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. It is the money class.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate that they do these things. Very unfortunate. But also, it can be two things. It can be corruption, or it can be who he knows, or it can be that they honestly feel that this is right, that they can't disclose his name because they're going to disclose who the young lady is. They can honestly feel that, that what they're doing is right, and it's not.
Yeah. Because
and to go further now, and I mean, we're talking about Jamaica now. The teachers, the teachers are not happy with the reclassification and the benefits. So what is happening now is that instead of they get the benefits from the ministry separate,
yes,
the finance minister has now lumped the would-be grants and fringe benefits into their pay. So their basic pay is going to be increased now. So if they were getting $100,000 per month and they were entitled to let's say $50,000, for example, $50,000 grant, it is now going to be added in their basic pay. So a lot of persons' pay is going to move from $1.2 million annually to $3 million annually, just because of the increased the inclusion, in these grants and loans and benefits and stuff like that, traveling and all of that. So a lot of persons, the basic pay is going to be increased.
So what's wrong with that? You say people are not happy with the reclassification?
People are all over the world. People are always object to change. But the thing is that when the thing is now in motion,
will it be taxed? Is it because it's going to be taxed or something like that? Because someday you get these.
But still, Brent, if you're getting 1.2 million per year annually, and it has moved up to 3 million annually, and the tax come out of it, you're still getting more than 1.2 that you used to get.
Yeah, but I think what I understood was that like you're gonna get car allowances and certain things. I think the tax don't really come onto that. I think it's something a bit separate. So I think when they lump everything together, they in real terms get less. I don't know. That's one of the things I've been hearing.
No, but
I don't know.
Silver, I'm saying if you take, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that, listen, not everybody would have gotten the traveling allowance. Not everybody would have taken the grant. Not everybody would have gotten these things. No, everybody is getting this increase. You understand what I'm saying? So because these car allowance. It's not every teacher have a car or car allowance or whatever. It's not every one of them. No, what they're doing is that they're putting this together so everybody know is getting this benefit, even if before they never used to use it. Whether or not.
So whether or not they have a car.
Exactly.
They're getting this thing.
They're getting it. So what I'm saying, and I have spoken to the information minister. I spoke to other persons. I said, listen, your messaging, right? And you see, when the Jamaica Labour Party do bad, me not free come publicly and say them a fall down on it. The messaging is not getting out there to the necessary persons.
Well, I said
very clear.
Yeah. Your minister said something. No, sorry, the Minister of Information, which is he put a tweet out the other day, and I'm trying to find a tweet, and the tweet, what is it? Is it Morgan? What's it again?
Yeah, Robert Morgan.
Yeah, he did a tweet, and only persons who know what it's about know what it's about. I guess maybe that's what a tweet is. Robert Nesta Morgan. The tweet was this. Something like, I wish that people, when they go to a meeting, they will explain what the meeting is about or something like that. I can't find it. Maybe full explanation by the PNP NHT. I can't find it. But it's very interesting. But in the ramp, the guy in the ramp, we need to get him on the show one time to have a conversation with him. Bring him on the show one time. But he doesn't like people who disrespect him to have conversation with. I heard him one time. He said, if they disrespect him, you not talk to them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Because like persons like Wayne Lonesome have disrespected the Prime Minister and Nesta now go up on him show. What Michelle said?
Why do people of Jamaica need to have credit on their phone in order to call 911 or 119? Which one in Jamaica again? 119?
No, it's both of them. You can use 119 or 911. Yeah. No, Michelle, you don't need credit on your phone to call emergency number, but you need credit on your phone to call the direct station. Because I have called 911 in Jamaica without credit before. So you don't need credit on your phone for that. No emergency number, and that was a given from Digicel and Cable and Wireless, our telephone company of Jamaica was established. That was a given that no emergency number, you need credit to call these numbers. Anybody has told you that, Michelle, they are not being forthcoming with the truth.
Therefore, Michelle, the answer is that. Anybody else want to ask any question to the minister while we're here?
I don't adorn titles that I don't get remuneration for.
Oh, you don't? Oh, it's because you're not getting remuneration. That is why you're not claiming the title.
Yes.
But Lester,
plus my good friend Robert Nesta Morgan has that portfolio already, sir. I'm not challenging for that portfolio.
You see, Lester, I was involved with the Jamaica Diaspora UK, and I was the information person, and I was just throwing out information left, right, and center. Everything was going on, and then call me one side and say, "Oh, you're putting out too much things, negative things, and blah blah blah." And then when I try to shut me down, just tell them about them parts, Baba. You know. And I mean, it's public knowledge. I mean, you know, and from that time, I've not been very much a part of the game. Even though my video recently say you got to be in the ring to actually win or to give a knockout punch, but from that time, I've actually decided not to. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm a straight. I can't. One time, a guy. Look at this. If somebody points something to someone speaking about you in a negative way, which people always do about you, still I've noticed. But if somebody speaks about you in a negative way and they actually discussing it, and then they see you on the road and they're smiling up on you, I say, "Where's someone?" I said, "Would you be smiling up with them as if to say they are your buddies?"
The younger Lester would have run them way. You see, sometimes you have to look at the bigger picture. My wife always tells me that she like when we look at the bigger picture. This person may be in a sensitive position,
Yes.
right? And you hear them talk bad about you. But one day you know that you is a highly likely that you would need them. So instead of chase them away,
Yeah.
right? You just have to just play the hypocrite. I'm gonna play the beat man, because beat man a big hypocrite. Just play the beat man with them.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
because sometimes it is better to hold back your emotion,
Yeah.
right? And have some and can be engaged in something that benefit you, than show your emotion, and then when you want something to benefit you, you know you makajuk you.
Well, I made that Maka joke me because I said to the person when I saw the person, and the person was smiling. I said, I said, it's a virgin. Just like when we block you on social media, you block virgin. Man, I come up to me and I shit me. I said, virgin. Leave my space, man. Leave my space. You know, it is just like what Michelle said. Michelle said, no, that's hypocrisy. You know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying. But again, it all depends on how you value persons. Because different persons, yes.
Burn, you know, say enough labor at MP not like me.
Is it?
Enough labor at blogger not like me. Enough labor at panel not like me. You see, from being a law enforcement supervisor, tell you say, if everybody like you, something wrong with you. You know, you're not doing something right. Especially when you're in a certain sensitive position, you know. So I mean, if people don't like me, Silver, and nowadays in the last 10 years, most people who we interact with are persons who we don't know over social media. We don't know them.
Yes.
Just think of the vast amount of persons you have interacted over social media that you have never met in your life and you will never meet.
Yes.
But you and them have a rapport and you might exchange numbers or you might talk on the phone, but you have never met this person in life. When I went to Jamaica last month, it is the first I'm meeting all of these people that just see me take photo with her and put up. It's the first I'm meeting these people. You know, so I mean, for me, personally, especially over social media, I don't take it as and Vita always said, who you not bother you? I said, me not know them. You know, me not know them. So you know what I mean? You know, them saying all kind of, you know, you have seen what people say about me over the years. Really nasty stuff about me and stuff like that. It not bother me because me don't know them.
Jankro.
I'm worse than that, but my sexuality, all kind of something, and you know, so me broke and I can't go to Jamaica and all kind of, you know.
No, come talk to me in a way I do get what let's say. In the last part, what you said, let's say correct. That's what I tell my son and daughter. You know, the interesting thing though is even like with the whole social media thing. Once maybe many years ago, if I'm sitting down and people are actually looking at you, you'll say what in your mind. You're not really saying out what, but now I have to realize. Like the other day, I was at the commission. Somebody came up to me and said, "Oh, Silver, how are you? I follow you." Blah 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 blah. I said, "Oh, cool. You know." And then you realize at the same time that you got to know be so. One time there's a guy one time, and used to have different issues on social media, and I used to lick out. Listen, Bridget, I used to lick out hard one time on social media. I used to lick out hard, and I think he was offended. And one day I met the guy. The guy was such a great guy. We've become friends. I was such a nice guy. You know what I'm saying? I felt sorry after that when I realized, you know, because sometimes people put up a persona, and people know this on social media, and you think that they're this big bulldog, but when you actually find them, they're really fanky. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I should say it like that. You know what I mean?
But Silburn,
yeah,
you and I, and persons have always called me, I'm a public figure, right? I was first told that by the same Minister of Information. I'm a public figure. I've never really thought of myself as a public figure until he said that to me. you're a public figure, because you are all over social media, all over the internet. A funny story. Vita was in the bridal shop, and so I would drop her off to the shop, and I would stay in the car outside. And while she go inside and deal with the dress and whatever, 'cause I didn't want to see the dress before the day of the wedding.
Yeah.
And so we went there, several times. So so we went back there the last time now. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm like, why is she taking so long? So I say, you know what? Let me go in there. You just out of, let me go in there because it was longer than usual.
Yeah.
As I stepped in there, a young lady, I think she's one of the receptionists or something. She see me and she put up the V. So, I'm like, okay. And she come out to me, come hug me, and she said, blogging God, I've never seen this girl before.
Yeah.
Right? But she greeted, and she said, you're married to, and she said, yeah, I'm a husband. And she said, really? And she followed me on social media. Silbert, I don't know this girl.
Yeah, yes.
Right? But I mean, this is the new age now. This is what the internet is about now. So sometimes we see persons looking at us and they know us from social media.
Yes.
Especially me have when I type in let's tag you say what
Yeah, I see so much. I don't know. Sometimes that's why sometimes you don't get a message because I don't know which one is the right one to message you sometimes.
Just tag all of them.
Yeah, but most of them you're in prison.
No. I haven't gone in prison for like 4 or 5 months now.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking social media prison, just for the record. Facebook prison.
Oh, okay.
I just have to make that clear. Is that?
Kitty, no, she just texted me something a while ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the plane has on Wi-Fi, so I think she's connected.
Okay.
Yeah, but Silver, you see, and people troll a lot. People troll me a lot. People would just sit and just come and say things to me. Forget a reaction and stuff like that. Ignore them.
So tell me then, what would you say then is your claim to supporting and be a patriotic Jamaican in the diaspora? But before we go there, Michelle Clark did say everyone lives 3 lives: the public, the social, the private / secret. And also she says, I'm in Facebook jail very often myself.
Yes, because Michelle doesn't hold back her tongue, and she says very raunchy things, to persons on social media.
Holding back tongues and everything like that. You always say I must be careful what I say. Listen, so I just play the music there. I don't know what.
Michelle and I have never had a run-in on social
media. Yes.
But personally, for me, as a person who lives in the diaspora, part of my contribution.
Peter said block. Yes, Peter, I agree with you. Block. The block here, say block everywhere. That's an Ochi people. Let's say you'll understand that as an Ochi man after a while,
Yeah, block man. I do understand. But me not black people, but I do understand.
And we're not talking Block Factory.
No, we're not talking Block Factory. But for me as a person who lives in the diaspora, my contribution is the information that I give. A lot of persons have benefited from the sharing of the jobs availability. I have helped so many persons in a personal way. There's a particular young lady that lives in the tri-state area in New York, and her grandmother was being buried in St. Mary, and during the height of COVID, they were not allowing persons to be buried at the family plot, or you'd have to get a special pardon, a special permission from the mayor of Port Maria, right? And also, she was having problems with the National Commercial Bank in getting funds from her grandmother's account, right? And she called me one day, and me and her, how we meet at cost, we are cost by social media till we become friends. And she called me crying, say she having problem, blah blah blah. So don't worry yourself, man. So I hook her up with it. We talk to the mayor of Port Maria. Call one of my friends them who work at NCB, my big boss at NCB, right? Sort it out, hook them up. Within one day, everything smooth. So my contribute, and I've done that several times.
Would you consider that nepotism, or not corruption, but what about the average other person who don't know these links? Are they at a disadvantage?
But nepotism is a part of life, Silver.
Okay.
We have seen the whites, the Chinese, the Indians, they all practice nepotism. I mean, it's not. It is how you do it, because you can do it, but it is the how. If the person is in a position and the person is just grossly ineffective in the position, that means that is corruption. But you can put somebody in like what Trump said. Trump said, him not want a poor person at the for the Fed, for the Federal Reserve. Him not want a poor person who use the money to be the chairman for the Fed. He put him one of them friend them. Me not wrong him.
But he said the practice among those with power or influence of favoring relatives or friends, especially by giving them jobs. You're right, because at the end of the day, everybody have a link, innit? It's a link. And it has happened for years. People.
I had to flex my muscles recently while I was in Jamaica. I won't go into details, but I wanted a certain thing, and the clerk was giving me a warm time, and I was there with somebody else, and I said to the clerk that, listen, may I beg you, just push through the paperwork for me. And he was being very difficult. Mr. No problem. Mr. Outside, I call the minister that's in charge of the agency. The permanent secretary called the young man and said, is there Mr. Gale there? Yes. Put you in paperwork. Right? And the permanent secretary came downstairs herself and shaped me and said to, deal with him. Everybody in the place, look for me. What I walked away that day is there may be thousands of other persons who want to have something important pushed through also, and they don't have the access that I have, right? And then business gets spoiled up. And but that is how the world runs. Me can't control that.
So what you're saying then is that being in the diaspora with the access that you have, you're finding that you're in a position where you can help people back home as well.
So celebrating the below people, make people get house.
Yes.
Make people get house.
No. Listen. My parents, my father always say to my mother when my father was alive, when I used to call home a lot, and he used to say, boy, the boy there in England and didn't know about Jamaica more that way. I used to tell him what's going on sometimes. And one of the things that I do is I believe in access to information and access to person. And I don't find it difficult to help people. I remember one time, and this is not a big deal now because I'm familiar with Nesta Morgan from years ago. I'll tell you the story because a friend of mine, her sons were in a school and she wanted to move from that school to another school. Andrew came to the UK a couple of times, Minister of Education. I got to know Andrew very well, and the Prime Minister, and the girl linked me, and I said, okay, let me just link Andrew, and I linked Andrew, and Andrew put me on to Nesta. And to this day, that lady always thanked me because they helped her. Now, they helped her to make it better for her boys to go to the school that she wanted the boys to go. and now the boys are big men now. You understand? And that was through my access, being in the diaspora, but being able to still have an eye wanting to help Jamaica. And that is why I always say to people all the while, don't start them foolishness there. So we are not patriotic. We are sometimes, I'm not going to say more patriotic. I'll just say we are patriotic.
Silburn, I stop you there.
Yeah.
More people in diaspora has taken care of Jamaicans more than Jamaicans who are in Jamaica taking care of Jamaicans. Right? We pay a whole heap of school fee. We pay a whole heap of doctor bill. We pay for a whole heap of passport. We pay for a whole heap of school fee. I have done so much things over the years for persons whom I don't know. At social media, them in a desperate situation. And they have said they have turned to family members, and family members have turned their backs on them. And I have helped them. Persons have wanted jobs and them apply. I say, send me a resume. But look over it and say, all right, take out this, take out that. All right, I'm going to send a resume to such person. And this person is now, several persons are now employed to several ministries.
Yes.
Yes. So persons in diaspora, right? And I can talk about my wife. She has helped hundreds of persons. I mean, not because I'm a wife. Hundreds of persons. I know many persons in the diaspora who have continued to help persons in so many ways, right? Yourself and
Why are you smiling? Why are you blushing? Man, start blushing to back said.
Watch beauty. Eh? But Silver, yourself and O'Neill have contributed to a charity, to a church that this have touched many persons' lives who you have never met. But this is a positive thing. You're helping persons, right? So don't be afraid to claim the good that you have done.
No, it is a powerful thing, and that's one of the things. And I tell you this as well because I have worked with persons who have been in the process of recruiting teachers from Jamaica, right? Wanting to get my insight as to certain things. I'm actually just recently sent a potential nurse coming to the UK a link to join the National Association of Jamaican Teachers in the UK. So in the UK, you got an NHA, National Association of Jamaican Teachers. So when they come, they are actually taken care of or mentored. Because coming from Jamaica to the UK, there's going to be a culture difference. There's going to be sometimes accommodation and all those sort of things. So and I think, and that is why I always say to people all the while, and some people say, "Well, you're not going, man, you're not going." I said, why are you going to politics? Why not go politics in Jamaica? And I said, actually, when I think about it, and when I'm walking on the streets in the UK, I see a lot of Black Jamaican ancestors, lots of children of Jamaican parentage. Them now go to Jamaica, Lester. Them now go back to Jamaica. Them don't know Jamaica. You understand? And lots of them are here in the UK. Now, if everybody go back to Jamaica, who is going to actually be thinking about these youths in the UK as well? I keep saying to people all the while, get involved in the political process in the country of where you are. I am one of those privileged persons of the 160,000 who is going to be able to vote for the next Prime Minister of the UK. I've now voted online, and I finally put in my ballot a couple of days ago, right? Yeah. And I voted for different prime ministers as a member of the Conservative Party, and I have no apologies for that. Sometimes people pull me aside and say, how can you be a member of the Conservative? And I said, because my father name is a city and my mother name so, and your name is on my birth certificate.
Yeah, so you're free for the way you're a big man.
You understand? I'm gonna come straight from Ochi. You understand? Yeah. And that is me in a nice way. But I still do explain why I do it still. Because I like to listen to why persons are opposed to a Black person being a part of the Conservative Party, and what is it that they want me to say if I'm in a position where I've got access. I've been at the House of Commons where I'm with ministers of government and sitting and listening to them, and maybe in a circle, because I'm a member of the Society of Conservative Lawyers. And sometimes you might not understand what they're saying in the lesson because they're old boys differ, but sometimes it's good to just listen. And instead of saying, boy, I pay white people there, so I'm going to understand them. This is not for me. I always say, no, this is for you. You need to position yourself there to have access.
Silburn, you can't have a seat at the table if you're not at the table.
Yes. Yes.
You understand me? So some people live in the living room.
Yes. Yeah.
Some people live in the living room. You know, but Silburn, this is what I'm saying. I've had more access now since I'm living overseas, right? And I have steered persons in a particular direction on how to get help. You know,
Yes.
I've said to persons, listen, don't just say the MP now, you know, or the government now, you know. I said, is there a skills training facility in your community or your constituency? Yes. I said, is it free? I said, but if you're not working, you have the time. Why don't you go and acquire a skill? Right? You know what I mean? You can look at a job. So when a job come along, right, then you can go work. But in the meantime, you're acquiring information and knowledge of a skill. Now, you are going to next year, you graduate and you have a certificate. You're better than last year because now you have a transferable skill.
Yes. Yes.
And I've given people this. And you have seen the jobs that I've posted jobs countless times. And persons share them, persons call me, thank you. Are you make me in that job? Are you make the amount of person that never used to earn $1? They are not working in call centers because I posted it, and they're earning up to $200,000 a fortnight.
Yeah.
And me not do it for no glory, but me I say my platform is big. If I can extend it out there and persons get employed, gainful employed, and take care of them family, but I want somebody that call me, beg me a euro, you know. One day somebody that call you, you know, silver and beg you a pound, you know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it.
It is very important, and for persons to really think about this, and if people are going to watch this after as well in Jamaica, all over, to think about the whole aspect of patriotism and how you as a Jamaican overseas can actually contribute to Jamaica directly or indirectly, and for people not to feel ashamed, because sometimes they feel ashamed sometimes if they go overseas, and people make them feel bad sometimes, but at the same time the person that made them feel bad is the same person I'll call them next week. You know, and so
I've got that a lot of times.
Yeah,
I've got that a lot of times. You know, but it is what it is, and you like many times certain things happen in Jamaica. Even when Vita and I was in Jamaica, and she questioned me, I said, Vita, Jamaica, don't bust your brain about it. Just don't say, I just saw Jamaica run, you know. But you can't really angry with them. You just understand, say, we are in an evolved society. So our actions and train of thought and the ecosystem around us is way different than what is happening in Jamaica. And you have to understand, you have to have the mindset to switch to it and understand, say, these are how them people are think, these are the environment around them, and you can't judge them feed per se. You have to just understand and deal with them accordingly and try and just get out of them way. You know, but it is what it is. But if you really follow the Jamaicans who live in Jamaica, especially if you're talking on issues that happening in Jamaica, the first result is you know live as you know to talk. You know?
Yes.
And I always say my money when we work help to make you have infrastructure and goods and services, because remittance is the #1 earner for Jamaica.
It is very ignorant at times when persons say, send money to Jamaica, you send money to your family. And I said, oh, the money that you send to the family is the money that they use to buy food, the money that they use to pay their bills, the money that they use to, to pay tax on GC. Is it GCT in Jamaica?
Yeah. But listen, this money goes into circulation.
Yes, yes.
So it's not like say, like when your family buy grocery with the money where you send. It's like say, it's stop at the supermarket alone. No, because the supermarket use that money and it keep transferring.
And it pays the wages as well. And
yes,
those wages of their staff. Yeah.
So as I say, you can't take it personal. Many people tell me, say, oh, you live in Netherlands, shut your mouth. This one, they are see this one go on, this one go on. And then 6 months down the line, this one note in my messenger. Boy, you can't get that link from me, you can't this, you can't. And I say, are the same person who don't live in Jamaica, you ask,
Yeah.
So, many times. I give them try to help them as much as possible.
Something I was thinking about with the teachers, the social teachers crisis, and it depends on and it depends on who you speak to understand if there's a crisis or not. You see, like how the advent of COVID taught us how to use social media, or we had to use a lot of virtual cases. I mean, in court these days, judges are now privileged to have the opportunity to say, okay, let's come back to court next week, but we can just go virtual. We can go remote with this one, because this one is much a 30-minute issue. We don't need everybody to rack up and go to court. Sometimes you're getting barristers, like we're saying, counsels to cover a case, and they all sometimes ask the question, is it virtual or not? Because if it's virtual, they will quickly do it at times than to rack up from some far distance to go to a court in court or so.
Yeah.
I was thinking this, and think it out with me. If there are shortage of teachers, then who knows, maybe the teacher is need to be there physical. Maybe they should start getting teachers' assistants and then have videos, big video screens in classrooms, whereby a teacher could be anywhere in the world that teach that class, and that teacher's assistant could be there to actually ensure that the children are sitting down and behaving. And it could even be a same teacher from overseas. Remember the time difference again. I'm just thinking that one has got to be very creative and initiative at this time. There must be a way around it. I was just thinking loud.
Yeah. But it's it that also you have to look at the cost, because you then now have to retrofit all of the schools them with television sets.
Well,
and all of the classroom them then have to have television set. Not only that too, and you see people are gonna say, oh, government are teach money, government are this. Listen carefully. You have to then have protective systems in place for these classrooms, because if you look at Excel, so like my school, right? Each grade have 10 classrooms, right? So grade 7, 10, grade 8, 10, grade 9, up to 6th form. Now, how much TV you gonna buy, sir? They come at a cost. So and when you buy them TV, you have to protect the TV them. So you have to grill up the classroom them.
Well, I'm thinking of a different way. I'm thinking about the sort of TV that you can just pull down with a projector. So you're talking about one TV, if anything, in the school. So not all cubicles for the students going to have that. In organizations now, and most of these academies in the UK now, classes now have a portal, a video portal, and that is something which has got to be eventually the thinking of government, because we have seen with the advent of COVID, God forbid that we have another second type of COVID thing and lockdown. We shouldn't be kept Yeah, we shouldn't be called. Is that Vita? The only thing I'm distracted of Vita. No, I know Vita. That. I saw you look distracted
No,
a while ago.
no, 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 no.
That was
No,
Vita.
continue talking. I'm hearing it.
Yeah. So the point I'm trying to say, ladies and gentlemen, is that with the advent of COVID, COVID has actually taught us of the negatives of the death, but also showed how people can actually be now witty and think outside of the box. And I believe that the government of Jamaica or the education sector should be now having in schools, not in cubicles for every single student, but big monitors. And these big monitors are there that they can have maybe group teachings or whatever like that, you know. And in light of teachers going away overseas, maybe you're gonna have to get some teachers from overseas coming online, you know, how Jamaicans contributed. And the cost will be cheaper for the teacher because you'll be paying them um, per session, you know, and then with it. So yeah, that's it then. Yeah, right.
Come on, I'm a charge. I'm gonna go for.
Yeah. So yeah, so I think generally what I wanted to really get out of today is not just the whole beating down of Jamaicans overseas, but how Jamaicans can be supportive of Jamaica. Vita said earlier that lots of Jamaicans are going down creative business. Jamaicans are doing charity work. One Jamaican lady over here, Angela, what's her name again? She organized ambulances and health stuff to get onto Jamaica. I think Vita is also talking about how we can get clothes to be going to institutions.
Yeah.
You know, I've actually since she said that to me, I've actually spoke to a few people, or if I'm in conversation with somebody and they say, "Oh, I'm trying to get rid of all these clothes," I said, just hold it for a moment, hold it for a moment, because I'm hoping that something may come out of what Vita said in order to somehow uh, can send some stuff to.
There's an institution that Vita and I are working with. I won't call the institution name. And
Yeah.
me currently, me I look on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 30, but 15 boxes behind me of clothes.
Yeah.
When me now use, me now wear, a lot of them are really good condition, really, you know. Some of them may not wear yet, because me look on for them since we come back from Jamaica and about them tag on them. So we are gonna send that to the institution for persons to get, you know.
But
So
have you got ways of bypassing this cost? Well, again, you have access to all the ministers and the government sectors. So I guess that won't be a problem. Am I correct there? For the benefit of Jamaica, of course.
I
You don't have to.
I do things the legal way, sir. So the cost is of the least factor in the situation. So for me.
Yes. But that is the positive thing of not nepotism, but access
Yeah.
access to assistance that can help a people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is something which is very crucial that many people, because I'll let you know more about this, but Pika who does a passport and thing like that, they're planning to come to the UK, and I'm in consultation with them and another guy to support when they come to the UK for this road show. And just by chance, just speaking to a couple Jamaicans, just by it casually, they say, yeah, man, we want to get all my children and their passport and blah, blah, blah. So there's such a need for that. You know, access where we can help people. Lots of people want to get their papers. Their passport expired for a long time ago. They can't find a passport, you know.
And as I thought about that, so I have a friend that he lives here, but he's currently in Cuba now. He went for his daughter in Jamaica, and so he's going to the embassy, the Dutch embassy in Cuba, on Monday, for the visa to come here. But he has his Dutch passport. I said to him, say, use it when you're in Jamaica going to Cuba, use a Jamaican passport because it's give you easier access than the Dutch passport.
Yeah.
You never know that. You know, and in passport they expire. And he was going to him have to help him apply for it online. I said, no bother with that, man. When you go to Jamaica, you have 1 day service, go there early, do the 1 day service, you go out the next day and collect it. 1 day, you collect it. You know?
1 day service of passport.
1 day, yeah.
Okay.
You pay a little bit more, but you and I earn high currency income, so you know it's no problem for us.
So it would be the same cost as buying of sorting your passport in the UK for anything. Actually, it would be less. Actually,
it will be less
because in real terms. It will be less in real terms.
In Jamaica, it's less because you don't have to pay for the transportation, for the courier service.
I think for people who get their passports here, once they do access this organization Picker that deal with the passport, I think there's a 25 days turnaround between them dealing with it and sending it back to them. So that is something.
My Jamaican passport, I applied for it online, and within 2 weeks I got it.
Okay. It's illegal then. Illegal.
Yeah, within 2 weeks I got it. But it cost me like €150 at the time. And if I was in Jamaica, it wouldn't cost me €100.
Yes.
It would cost me something like 6,500 or 6,800 Jamaican dollar. You know, but I mean,
good. Well, Lester, listen, brethren, thanks for the chat today and the conversation. We keep it rolling. So this is what I said to you all a while. Something has happened whereby if you come on, that means if Vita don't come on. If Vita come on, that means come on. We need to say like you guys are a tag team, you know what I mean? Normally it would be 2, but now you deem as 1 just because you are here now. So Vita is here now. Kind of backside thing that. That's like that.
Well, listen, you have to have supporting roles, right? And supporting roles evolve and revolves. You know, so sometimes I am in the comment section, you know, giving support, and she is on screen, on camera. See, I although I'm a superstar, my wife is also a superstar. So, you know, we are not in competition with each other. We complement each other.
Well, the funny thing about it is that what did you say before? You are the blogging god.
Yeah.
And she's the empress. No, there's another name she had.
Beatrice, the goddess.
Beatrice, yes. So it is not surprised that ladies and gentlemen, just for your information, Talk and Sip is now national. That's what? What's that? Yeah, it is now. It's now anything goes. You know what I'm saying?
We'll find Jody one man.
Huh?
We'll find Jody one man.
Jody, I know Jody says she can't make it tonight, but Jody must be what? Jody, I think might be listening in the background. She might be going like this.
And I think one of your guests in the comment section, she may also need a partner. I won't call her name, but I can call her initials MC, right?
Well, as a person who's very mutual and just trying to facilitate the process, I'm happy to facilitate any process at the same time. And if we have more examples of any great perfect combination, as the song said by Stacey Lattisaw, perfect combination, then we can gain some traction and maybe have, should I say, evidence that the show can take it to another level. So you need some evidence then. Or should we say your attributes or your Reverend does come. Reverend is here. Close the show.
Hey, Lester.
Blessing.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm alive.
I've been listening in the background, man. I've been listening to Silver and giving you some problem there.
It's welcoming problems.
I can see that, man. I can see that. I can see that. So how you doing,
Oh,
Sil?
yeah, you're looking fresh, Gary. You're looking fresh and ready for the world. You're coming at 12 o'clock sharp as the show finish.
Wow, on the dot.
Sharp on the dot, you know.
At
But
least I can bring the benediction, you know.
You know, African you know, African
hold on. There's a clap back to Leicester. Leicester, this is for you. I didn't know your card name.
I miss.
I didn't call any name.
I didn't name it. Good to see you, man. Good to see you.
But Gary, listen. The topic today was you can say before you do the benediction. The patriotic diaspora is the word we use. The patriotic diaspora. What would you say have been? You can say is the positive work of Jamaicans overseas for Jamaica.
I'm hearing some feedback there, you know,
Hold on,
repetition going on there.
let me see something. Yeah. You got something better. So when Gary's talking, I'm just gonna mute you. Yeah? Let's not nothing away, okay?
Okay.
Go on, Gary. Yeah.
Yeah, say that again.
Yeah. What I was saying was that the topic tonight, as you can see, the patriotic diaspora, and the past week we are talking about Jamaicans overseas, according to one deputy mayor, that they are not patriotic. And today we're saying that Jamaicans are very patriotic, even though they're overseas, that they can contribute to Jamaica. So I
Right.
would just like ask you for a couple of examples or so as for Jamaicans overseas, how they can benefit Jamaica at the same time. You know,
Well, I mean, I think you can't get any other Jamaican that are more patriotic, I believe, than those who have left looking back and sees. Well, put it this way: Leicester is a prime example. I
that's the
mean,
example. Yeah.
ever since I've been listening to Talk and Sip and other programs that Leicester's on, he's very supportive.
Gary, I think is it in your you haven't got something on in your background there? Oh yeah, your phone.
No, everything is off here.
Yeah, everything is up. Yeah,
Hold on.
yeah. Check something. You might have two windows open because we're hearing another thing there.
Okay, you hear
Yeah,
me now?
yeah, man. Oh, we're hearing you twice, Gary. We're hearing you twice.
Yeah, I think yeah,
I put
I
my
mean
Leicester on, man.
Leicester. I think I think that the Labour Party should employ Leicester as the ambassador for the world, really, because because I think he's fighting tooth and nail, you know, for Jamaica. I mean, I'm proud to listen to Leicester sometimes because he's got the fire and the vigor of he should be prime minister. You know, I don't know what's going on.
Well, a while ago, someone asked a question, and then I responded, and I simply said, "Let the minister answer that."
Gary,
Hey,
Rev,
Vita, it's good,
Rev,
man. Yeah, I
Rev,
think yes, Lester.
there's already bro God, you know. This is a blogging God. I'll stay in the section.
Yeah, you see the thing about it. Now, I mean, in the past, I don't want to extend your time still, but
Yeah.
in the past,
Hi.
when you've had your past contributors from Jamaica speaking about Jamaica, I think even though they may travel yeah, but I think that they don't have, to me, they don't have the fire, and they're looking at Jamaica from a different perspective. Now, everybody has their perspectives on a particular area or subject.
Yes.
I'm not against that. But then when you look at like Lester and Vita, sometimes even looking at what Michelle says from time to time, coming on board, and from others outside,
Yes.
it's not that they have less a love for Jamaica, but I think that when they contribute and make their contributions about Jamaica, they're seeing a lot more passion. They have a lot more passion for what Jamaica has to offer, can offer, and what they also lack. What they also lack. And I think that the Jamaicans overseas, yes, there are some over the years, and all of us here can probably attest to this. Whereas there are some, sadly, that when they've left Jamaica, they've thrown stones behind them.
Yeah.
They don't think anything. They don't want to go back. It's as if they've never known Jamaica. It's as if they don't know that Jamaica ever existed. And I don't, that's not very nice. I mean, I've known people here in the UK, you too, I'm sure, Silbert and Lester, that lives over in the Netherlands there, Holland, that ever since they left Jamaica in the 50s, and probably, yeah, let's say 50s, they don't go back. And I don't understand that. I really do not understand. And the funny thing about it too, Lester, is that here in this country, there's people who's been here and they're still living in a council house. They haven't even bettered themselves. So they're not looking, they forget about Jamaica. Them don't even know that Jamaica exists. And at the same time, they haven't bettered themselves here either. So when you think of people who are talking negative about Jamaica, when you look at where they are, and probably even in America they're the same, they haven't bettered themselves where they are, but at the same time they've forgotten where they're coming from.
Yes.
And that is the bad thing about it. It's those who, when they leave Jamaica, they better themselves. They have excelled in the field and the area in which they're in. When you hear them talk about Jamaica, they have the passion of Jamaica. And they've even been back to Jamaica a couple times in 1 year, never mind the years that they've been here. So I don't think you will ever get a more patriotic Jamaican than those who are outside of Jamaica.
Yes.
And that they are making a contribution where they are, and they're hoping to make a contribution back in Jamaica. Because again, Lester, from what I've seen since I've joined his Facebook fan page, Lester, to me, Lester's a prime example of that. Because I've seen that he's been to Jamaica, he's meeting people. He's meeting people at our movers and shakers there. But he's not only there doing that, but where he is, he's making statements, he's bettering himself, he's trying to make an impact there and anywhere else that he goes. The same with you, Silver.
He has made an impact, as you can see right there. He has made a fundamental impact.
Well, we forgot to ask Vita that, We forgot to ask Vita. Vita, what kind of impact he make on you? Nobody answer that. You hear me? Nobody started that.
Yeah, don't answer that. Gary's about to do the benediction. Let's see. You going to say something?
But Rev, you are 250,000% right. From what I have seen and interacted with other persons in the diaspora, all over Australia, Canada, all over, is that we have this burning desire to see Jamaica run well. You know, we have this desire to say there are simple things that don't cost a lot of resources that can be implemented and it work. You just put in place the right management, just have maintenance, just the simple things, And I was speaking to Vita the other day, and I said to her, and when she was here in the Netherlands last week, and I showed her by example, I said, look in the the subway station, every 50 feet, there's a rubbish pan, right? On the street, every 100 meters, there's a rubbish pan, right? On both sides of the road. So that's why the place is able to stay clean. These are simple things that we can employ in Jamaica. That is not of huge cost, because we can have the prisoner them, make the rubbish pan them. We can have the schools them that do the technical, the vocation, make the rubbish pan them. So we have 2 institutions all over Jamaica. We have make the rubbish pan them, and at very little cost. I would just put them on the roadside, and then the problem now would be collection, because there's not enough garbage trucks. But at least we have the receptacles there for people to put the garbage in. But simple things like that, and because like we're saying, why is it so difficult to do simple things like this? So these are some of the things, as we're passionate about it, because we say it can be done at minimal cost. And it's also certain level of discipline that we experience here. We would like to see, like, going into a bus. Rev, me shame when we just come here. Me I shoot down people for going a bus, Right? People like me a wild animal, And I realize that just stand up and simply step into the bus. Simply step into the bus. And everybody can see it.
Yes.
I mean, before you go on, I remember, when I was going to school, going on halfway through, stand up. And when I was going into the bus, me stand up there, me see the whole of the school children, everybody, I rush to go into the bus, JOS at the time. But me never get into the bus because me never push.
Yeah.
Miss that bus because I wonder what happened. What going?
But like what I'm saying, these are some of the simple things that we see, and we are saying, but it's not take no $3 billion to implement. It's not take $10 billion to implement. And we are saying that these small changes can have a lasting and a widespread effect on the society on a whole. So just imagine if we say, all right, we're gonna have garbage collection. They will say, all right, make broad it then. We're gonna have separation of garbage then. So if it's a blue pan, you put plastic in it. If it's a black pan, you put paper in it. Right? So the discipline of the garbage collection can be taught over time. And these things don't have to cost no whole money.
Right. True. And it just takes, I think, Lester, it's going to take a lot of discipline and re-education.
And political will.
Yeah.
Our politicians, and listen, I'm not talking about PNP now. Our politicians since 1962 have not shown any consistent political will to change certain things of the fabric of Jamaica. None of it. None of it.
So therefore, and this is where the diaspora also comes, and that is why I believe the diaspora, the conference also could be a bit more with more teeth and more oomph, to put pressure, because O'Neill mentioned something last week. He can't make it this week. O'Neill said African nations are now being used by the government of their nation. Sorry, Africans in the diaspora in America is being used to lobby different governors to get certain
Yes.
things. And that is where the power, because guess what? I'm in the diaspora here. Gary's in the diaspora. You are. We are registered in this country. We're actually more prone. We're in a better position actually to liaise with MPs and those persons for our people. We can do that. But what we need, I'm getting some feedback, Gary, so I just mute you. But what we can do still, we're gonna need the empowerment or the support of the government of the day in the respective diaspora base, which is like Jamaica, for argument's sake. But Gary,
But
listen. Sorry, let's
what
go on.
what Gilbert? I have said this to the powers that be, that I think we need a political representation in Garden House, in the Parliament, right, for the diaspora, right? So, like, we could have two and the split Jamaica, diaspora East, diaspora West, right? And one can represent whichever party it is. So one is PMP, one is JFP, but they're representative of the diaspora, right? So returning residents and persons who live overseas, right? We would directly vote for these two persons, right?
Yes.
We want a voice in the parliament.
Yeah.
And their focus now, these two MPs, their focus now would be to get foreign direct investment, would be charitable organization, go over and form groups overseas, agitate governors and mayors and stuff like that to give back to Jamaica, because we have a direct elected diaspora representative.
All right. Well, guys, listen. I made a decision now because Jody want to take on Leicester, and she can't get on to this one. So we're gonna go. we're going to go on to Instagram for a bit. So I'm gonna jump over to Instagram. Let's say if you can go over Instagram. Jody want to take you on because she was trying to get on. Because Leicester say more because it make connections. Same as Jody next. So Jody wants to see how that next gonna be.
So how do we get onto Instagram?
Oh, by going over there, Gary, and press the button.
Gary, do you have Instagram?
Gary, you don't have Instagram?
I do.
I've seen you on Instagram, Gary.
So Jody, just go on Jody page. Are you friends with Jody? You following Jody?
No. I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna start it on Instagram. I'm gonna shut down the one which I have there because that's what hours. So I'm gonna shut down the one which I have.
So you're going across Leicester?
Definitely.
Well, that's the only reason. That's why we're going to.
I want to see this match, so may I join too?
well, it's a holiday weekend and a bank holiday weekend and so no work next week. All right. Yes, so I'll be there in a couple of minutes. So ladies and gentlemen, listen, I want to thank you so much for joining. Gary, thank you so much for joining. Oh, Gary, you need to do the benediction. Sorry, let's go ahead.
He's gone? He's gone, man. He's gone. Yeah.
All right, Gary.
I'll go across to Instagram in a couple of minutes.
Instagram. Okay.
All right. Then.
All right. Thank you, Gary. Cheers. Bye-bye. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining tonight. It was a good show. Vita, Michelle, and everyone else. Those on Instagram, I'm just going to shut the show down now. I'm going to start right back on this because we're going to go live again on Instagram. Ladies and gentlemen, have a good night. Thank you. Join me next week, Saturday night on Talk and Sips, Thursday night on In Review, What's Your News? By the time next week, again, September the 5th, we'll have a new Prime Minister in the UK. And also follow me on my walk and talk in the mornings whenever I can. Very inspirational, very motivational. Sometimes I'm so motivated because I'm hearing things coming out of me that I say, wow, that I've got to go back and listen to. And one of the interesting things is that I keep meeting very interesting persons. I met a Jamaican today. I think his name was Arnold. And I met a guy from Hungary, Hobie. Great guy. We're having a long chat in the park talking about what we're talking about. We're talking about international ethics. national ethics or something about ethics, which was really good. He's into CFA and all those sort of things. But hey, meet great people when you're out there, and dogs as well. All right. Have a good night. God bless you.